Hey folks, 13 here, and joining us through the magic of the internet is Jim. We're about to play his game, Project Druid. Comment, like, subscribe, participate, always remember to share, do the important stuff that keeps this show going and this channel growing, and enjoy. So folks, we don't have volume in the game because there's no way to mute the music independently, so we have the game itself muted. And you know, that's a common thing. It happens. We feature a lot of games that are in development, and there are a few aspects of this title that are in development. We're largely featuring the game mechanic and, you know, the title in process. So, how many folks worked on this, Jim? Was it just you, or did you have a team?
No, it was just me. I've been working on it for 2 years now.
Okay, let's see. Welcome to the Haunted Forest. Find the key in the chest to proceed. And, okay, I got arrow keys for walking. And, I think I saw some firing going on. How do I fire here?
Well, the mechanics I installed in this game is you always have to use the arrows to show where you want to shoot. If you don't use that, it doesn't shoot. Because everybody's like, I'll just stand here,
Oh,
wait until the enemy comes and I'll shoot him. This doesn't exist in this game.
okay.
You have
I
to stay active all the time.
I died. Let's see. How do I restart? Spacebar? Yep, spacebar. Okay. Let's try that again. So I'm running now. What do I do other than that? Do I just avoid them? Is there another key I can
You can
press
avoid
to?
them if you want to. Yeah, you can avoid them if you want to. Yeah, the aim of the game is you have to find the key. It's hidden in one of the chests all over the level. Like every
Okay.
level is about 2,000 pixels, so it's very big, and you have to really look around to find it.
Ah, all right. Let's see here. All right, folks. So this is harkening back to some of the games that I played when I was younger in the 80s. It's a very cool kind of retro feel going on here. And we don't get the soundscape, but no, no. So we're hoping, oh, there you go. And you. And we're hoping that the soundscape is kind of matching that retro feel that the game's looking at. So what inspired, oh my goodness, that's rather evil looking. So what inspired the game design here?
Well, I was a fan of the game Druid on the C64. Maybe you remembered of those days. I always felt
Uh,
like it's
I was an Atari kid. I wasn't a Commodore 64 kid, but a good friend
okay.
of the show, Nate B, was a big Commodore guy. So I'm sure
Uh,
he'll comment on the video about that. What was the title again?
Druid of the
Druid.
Commodore
Cool.
64. It
Nice.
was, I think it was Firebird who made the game. And the thing is, the game was so interesting. I played it for 2 to 3 years and I could never pass the second level. And a few years ago, I checked it out on the internet for, like one of those full play games.
Uh-huh.
And to my big surprise, I saw somebody who ended it in 10 minutes.
Wow. Jeez.
Yes, I was like, oh my God, I played this for 2 years and I couldn't even get past the second level, and this guy plays it in 10 minutes. So that's, you could say like that is the base of this game too. I thought like make a big labyrinth, let people look around all the time and have fun with it. Like
Uh-huh.
really, like you said, retro game. Not like I save every 5 minutes and I'll get through the game. I think it's such a boring thing with the new games these days.
Well, what they call that these days, the concept of having one life, and the longer you play, the kind of greater is your investment, right? They
Yeah, I
call that
guess it's all about the money.
roguelike. So this is definitely part of the roguelike genre, and that'll help you with promotion by, knowing that keyword. But this is definitely a roguelike game. The concept that the longer you play, the more chests you look in, the more of them you eliminate in your search for the golden key. So,
Exactly.
your investment grows. Uh-oh, uh-oh.
And you have to
Oh,
go
oh,
through a whole
oh
level
no.
to find that one
Oh,
key.
I got defeated there, guys. So, uh, was Druid the game that you would say led you to fall in love with games and become a gamer, or is that another title that could
Well, that's
claim
another
that?
title. I don't know if you remember it, but it was like the Call of Vision, one of the first consoles. There was the game Burger Time. I was a
Oh
real fan.
yeah,
That was awesome. Burger Time.
I remember Burger Time back in the
I
day.
spent a lot of hours playing that game.
Kind of that was the one where you ran over the parts of the burger and they kind of fell
Yeah,
together to,
exactly. You made
yeah,
hamburgers.
that was awesome stuff.
That's what I really miss these days. Like the old games. They were fun to play.
Well, there's a large market for those to this day, and not just an older audience too. There's a younger audience that really enjoys that kind of stuff. So,
It's mostly indie developers though who make those games. I noticed that one on the internet.
well, that's true. AAA house usually focuses on different markets, but that's important. As a developer myself who works both in indie and in AAA, I see the need for both parts of the industry. I'm glad that they both exist.
Well, I think that the new games that are coming out, the AAA games, I think the market is a bit saturated. They don't really have something that you can say like, oh wow, that's a good game anymore. Call of Duty, I don't know. I don't like the last ones that came out. Today I played like Alien Isolation. I was like, God, this is boring.
Well, there are there's a lot of gamers who game for a lot of reasons, and doing what we do on this channel, not only supporting the indie market, but largely that. I mean, I think the only AAA title we've done really is Borderlands, and not because that's how we play, but that's just what we've been supporting with the channel. But in supporting indie games, you support whoever needs supporting and you feel has a good idea. Whether that idea has been executed well or not, or whether that idea is done or not, that's what you support. So you end up playing a lot of things. Oh, I did that to myself again. And I gotta say that, I'm surprised on occasion what the ideas are that come out of the indie market, and games like Portal and the story of Portal being essentially that was an indie team. It was a team. The team that developed that were some students working on a college
Awesome.
project, Numercular Drop. I was that guy at one time, and a lot of the stuff that I did in college influenced the stuff that I later did as an indie developer. So, I think it's good. All of it is good, except for when it's bad. There are times when what we do is used for not so good things. I think some of the content, and I'm not going to call any games out because I don't want to, expressly just alienate and anger part of my audience, because I have a really wide, broad audience. We play a little bit of everything, but
Yeah, I understand that. Respect for that.
yeah, yeah. But I don't want to call anybody out. But every once in a while, games are used for evil, and there's not so cool stuff, and that's happened for a long time. Even back in like the 80s or 70s, there was a crazy game where uh, the goal was to acquire a Native American woman and effectively violate her against a pole. And that's a darker moment in game history. And then there's also, there was a game that will go unmentioned where you had to kind of perform a terrorist act or be a party to in a uh, airline terminal, and all of that stuff's pretty rough. That's stuff that maybe would be better if it didn't happen in
I agree. Some
games.
some games are really sickening what they do.
Yeah, but it's a voice, and it's an artistic voice, and that it artistic voice, like science, is one of those things where you have to have some self discretion sometimes, and if not, I guess eventually they come up with a nuclear regulatory committee, and that's something that we've always tried to avoid as a industry. We kind of self-regulated with the SRB, but aside from that, we try to be responsible with what we do. But I think as long as the voice that you're expressing in a game is not something that's going to hurt the industry, because largely when that's excuse me, largely when that's done, that kind of grandiose, look at how crazy we're being with our game and how in your face we are. That's not always good for the industry as much as it is a marketing ploy, and that's a sad thing to have hurt us as an industry. But yeah, I think that there's a big place for all the games out there, and this is among those games. It's got a very retro feel, and that's a welcome thing whenever it raises its head. Oh, okay, we'll go this way. I grew up on many a maze game, you know? Ah, no, okay, well, that worked out for nobody, Spider. You're dead, and now I'm allergic. Oh,
Hope you
man.
become allergic to my game, Mark.
Oh, yeah, well, actually, 13, please. Mark is a guy who plays a role, and that role is 13. And, I may not be as comical as usual because the head cold kind of drives some of it away. And our discussion is a little more political today than I think some of our discussions are in some games where I just stare at the female character and say booby over and over. But, yeah, still 13. The Mark is the guy that does all the business work.
Right.
Yeah.
You do the fun part, right, 13?
Yeah. 13's the guy that has all the fun. At least
Oh, I hope
that's what I
everything's
try
good
to
then.
convince my wife of when I bring the 13 mask to bed, but she does not always go for that. All right, so what
Hope
got
it's
you
just
into
a
game
game. It's not a
development?
mask or something, 13.
I'm sorry?
I hope it's just when you go to bed and you say like I'm 13 and that's just it. It's not a mask or something. So mask or
So,
something would be really different.
so, what inspired you to get into game development?
Well, like I said, the last times when I play a game, I was like, nah, it's not what I'm looking for. And then when I look at the older games, because I love playing, still love playing 64
Oh,
games on an emulator and everything, I thought like, why not make the same game with new graphics and try to capture that feeling, that magic of what we felt when we were kids.
yeah,
Like some projects when you have some indie developers, when they start a project, it's like the same feeling you get with the AAA games. But there's also indie developers who like that older magic, like I
yeah.
like 64. I like that. That's what I wanted to do. I felt like I want to do one game in my life that's going to be nice. It's going to capture that magic and that feeling. So that's how I started 2 years ago.
So, we were talking a little bit offline before the show about the graphics, and the graphics that we're seeing today are kind of what we call in the industry box art. Box art is just art that is available. You're using it to get your proof of concept going and whatnot. And what kind of changes are you going to make graphically to the game as you put in finalized graphics?
Well, the trees are going to change. That's one thing. I want to use better trees, and I'm also going to change a few things in the levels. One thing that's going to change is the screens between levels. As you could see when you start the game, it tells you that you're going to enter and everything. That's going to change too. I'm thinking about changing the complete logo also in the game.
Uh huh.
Some people advise me to change the HUD in the game. I'm not sure about that one yet, but I'm probably going to fix a few little things Like the game over screen, I think that's a little bit too simple right now. I did that on 3D Max, but I want more details in it. I'm also thinking about more details in the graphics of the levels themselves, like flowers, stones, and those kind of things.
So is there a leaderboard or anything like that for shortest time? Can you keep track of your performance against like your friends or anything like that?
Leaderboard, I'm not sure about that one yet, but I'm thinking about putting in a high score. But
Oh, there you
leaderboard, I
go.
don't know if I can get it on online or not.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, if you I'm not sure what Steam supports, but I think if you get Steam support, there's some hooks that they provide where you can
Yeah, there's
upload
options for it.
and get
It's
data.
gonna take it's gonna take some time because the last statistics I took a look at is that I
Oh,
got about, yeah, I think about 300 yes votes right now, and you need about 6,000 as far as I can understand.
okay.
So that's gonna
Well,
take.
yeah, we encourage our users to look at the game and make suggestions that might help that 300 become 6,000. And keep in mind that the feel of the game is to be a retro game, and go back and look at some of the things that you love about the retro genres and the experiences that you enjoyed. Look at the experience that's going here and make useful suggestions. I think that's important. If you if you put down a vote, that's great. But in addition to that vote, help the game find the voice that it needs to get the 6,000 vote. And as the developer, as Jim continues to work on the game and it changes, maybe he can chronicle those changes graphically on that Greenlight page so that people can see it's a living project, and that really helps move through the Greenlight process, according to some of the successful developers, people that have had their ideas go Greenlight. We've talked to, we've interviewed in the past, and we found that to be true. Sorry, folks. There's a rampaging wildebeest that ran through the studio there. Oh man, this cold is absolutely the worst.
I'll get better quickly, 13.
Well, at least the fans know that this is a really informal show. The premise of the show is basically I'm one of your buddies that you game with, so we eat on the show and we blow our nose on the show, and every once in a while I forget and I stand up and you discover that I'm wearing pajama pants in the middle of a Saturday because we're shooting all day. And that's it. That's how this thing works.
Well, that's fun, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, they know it. They know it. We have fun doing it. So, on the score of eating, there's important questions we ask everybody, and probably the most important one is, what's your favorite pie?
My favorite pie. That would be apple pie.
We get a
I
lot of
like
apple
nice apple
pie.
pie.
Get an awful lot of apple pie coming back. We are out in Washington State, so there's many a good apple out here.
You can't find a lot here. Maybe you know I live in Turkey, but originally I'm from Holland. And in Holland you got great apple pie, Dutch apple pie. But here in Turkey you can't find good apple pie. Maybe McDonald's or Burger King, but that's it.
Are there good apples in Holland, or do they import the apples?
Uh, I think I think they have their own grow, but also import. But they always have nice apple pie. They also got something with apples from Belgium. It's called Fly. It's also awesome.
Nice.
I have my mother make it here if I need it. Apple pie.
Our state is actually divided by a mountain range, and the apples come from the other side of the mountains. On my side of the state, all we really have is Microsoft and the Space Needle and lots of gray sky. This is the side of Washington that has all the rain.
Oh, I love rain. It's always a nice thing.
It's funny that
Yeah.
they say Washington State is a wet state because it's actually just a small portion of it off to the side that's real wet, but the rest of it's kind of arid. It's almost like a desert. It's a nice place, though. It's a nice place to live. Not a
Well,
lot of seasons, though.
I live in Antalya at the moment in Turkey, and in the summer months we have like 45 Celsius to 50 Celsius. That's really nice and hot. It's like
That's
living in the desert.
that's a lot of Celsius.
Yeah, tell me about it. Always got air conditioning running all summer.
Well, at least you have a good way to process that, you know? Hey, oh, I trapped myself in that corner again. Well, sir, when you have that apple pie, what kind of coffee do you take with it? How do you take your coffee?
Well, I like it nice, sweet, and sugary.
Yeah?
Has some creamer in it. But if I'm working in the evening, like on the game or something, I'm doing something on the computer, I always have black coffee to stay awake. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like a coding marathon or something. Like it's
Yeah.
3 or 4 in the morning.
Yep, there were a couple of days in college. So out here, we have a big coffee culture out here, and we not only have kind of cafes where you go and you sit down and you have coffee, but there's also coffee stands that are small, kind of enclosed stands, and you can pull up to them in your car on the side of the road and get coffee.
Oh, that's nice.
And you
I,
can get all
it's
kinds
not
of
good.
coffee.
You have to go to Starbucks.
Well, yeah, you get Starbucks type coffee, you get the espressos and all of that type of stuff. It's like a Starbucks that's just a stand on the side of the road. But you got to be careful which ones you go to because some of them, the women who run them, are wearing bikinis and lingerie, and there is no amount of apologizing to your wife that you can do that makes it okay if you pull into one of those when she's in the passenger seat of your car.
I don't think I would survive that.
Yeah, they get really, really upset. And you can say all the right stuff. The coffee is really good here, and that's why uh, I don't believe the way that woman was dressed. That's completely unnecessary. That's shameful. None of those things get you out of trouble.
I don't think the missus will believe you when you start like drooling and looking.
Yeah, yeah, it was the coffee that was leading me to drool. I was very, very excited about the coffee. Yep, yep, yep. But as long as you stay away from those coffee stands.
It would be better for your marriage.
I was introduced recently through a similar coffee stand, but one where the women are properly clothed to white coffee. I'd never had white coffee before, and that's pretty crazy stuff.
White coffee, latte, or
No, it's the bean itself is white.
oh,
Super high
never heard of that
caffeine.
one.
It's really good stuff.
High caffeine, so it's worse than espresso then.
Oh, well, it is an espresso, but it's also this kind of high caffeine espresso. It's good stuff. I suggest it to everyone. All right, folks. I am done in. I suggest that you guys stop by the Steam Greenlight and you take a look at Project Druid and you exercise your ability to vote. You drop some suggestions on how to help the project succeed in today's market. And thanks so much for joining us, Jim, for the project or the interview here
Thank you
today.
very much for inviting me, 13. I was very happy to be on your show. And I'll
No
say good
problem.
luck.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing what the project becomes. It's very exciting. And you folks, thanks so much for joining us. Comment, like, subscribe, participate. Always remember to share. do the important stuff that keeps this show going and this channel growing. And we'll see you next time. And next time will be at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 1400 hours Pacific Standard Time for another hour of Terra Rising. We'll see you then.